Hello, Mike Griffin here. This is going to be an ambitious little video where we're going to create a full Visual Studio 2013 application using Tiraggo, fully built with My2ndGeneration using all the integrated My2ndGeneration features. So let's go give it a whirl. I'm going to make mistakes in this video, so bear with me. First thing we're going to do is new a project. We're going to do a simple Windows Forms application. That's fine, dev. We'll call it Windows Forms Application 6. We don't really care. So this is just a C# Windows Forms app. Okay, we're not going to use that right away. So it's loading some symbols here. Okay, now we're going to install Tiraggo from NuGet. Let's do that. Manage NuGet packages. We want to look online. Let's go ahead and type in Tiraggo. You can see there's 4 of them here. We want the Tiraggo architecture for Microsoft SQL Server. Let's click that, install. Alright, and you can see it created a Tiraggo folder. It's got the Tiraggo references in here. So we're all set. It's got a web config file, or an app config in this case. We're going to use SQL, so we're going to kill that entry. And let's go here and enter our connection string. Our data source is going to be my machine name, griffcom1 / SQL 2008. That's my instance. Yes, we want Northwind. Our user ID is going to be SA, password Griffinsky. Cool. So you notice that the NuGet package put the right stuff in the app config file for us. So we're ready. Let's get rid of these placeholder files that were there just to make sure the NuGet package would actually create those folders. And now we're set. So what we're going to do is we need to code generate our generated and custom classes, and we're off and running. One other thing we need to do, let's go into the README, and let's swipe this line here. This is the provider factory. We're going to put that in the top of our form. So let's just go into our form. Typically, you only do this once an application, so I really wouldn't do it in the form. I would do it in, well, actually, let's just do it in the spot where you're supposed to. So let's go into Program, put it right in the top here. There you go. Let's do a build. Make sure we're all good. 0 failed. Perfect. So we're good. This is going to basically what the provider factory does is it looks in the web config or the app config in this case. Sees what provider we've chosen. In this case, we want SQL Client Provider, and it's going to load that. It's loosely coupled because it can run with any provider, and actually it's provider independent. So let's go ahead and do the code generation. So we're going to select Custom. We're going to open up the My2ndGeneration desktop, which is living and breathing inside of Visual Studio. You can see here as I move it around. We're going to dock it in the center, so that's a full add-in. Let's get rid of that. In that, let's open up the Template Explorer, and we're going to go into Tiraggo, Custom, and actually before we do that, let's add our template. We're going to add a new item, and we're on the C# items. You'll notice, there we go, My2ndGeneration template. This is sort of like how you would deal with T4, only way better. So we're going to say Custom M2G. We're going to add that. And just puts in some fake data for you here. So what we're going to do is go get the real data. Let's load the custom template. We are going to choose, let's dock it so you can see better. We're going to choose Northwind, all tables. Now I could click this button and execute the template, and that would do the code generation. But really what I want is I want the project file. So it says script out project settings for this template based on the settings that I've made. So let's click this, and you can see now in my output window I've got this sort of JSON JavaScript blob with all of my tables in it. Let's select that. Let's go into our custom area and select that. So now you can see that it says the template information's in here, the namespace, the handlebars, all of my templates. Let's click Save. So we save that. Now look, if we open that, check that out. Just like T4, it already generated our classes for us, our custom classes. So I could actually go in here, for instance, let's delete all of them but one. It generates 3 classes per table. So we save that. You can see now I've got my categories. That's a single entity. I've got my categories collection and my categories dynamic query object. Let's go back into the template. Let's do an undo, undo, save. It just code generated and it's reloading those files. So let's close all. We're almost done. This is amazing. Let's go back into, I closed it, and we're going to go back into the My2ndGeneration add-in. We want the generated now, so we're going to add a generated template here. My2ndGeneration template. Let's just call it generated. It could be called anything, but it obviously makes sense to call it generated. Now we're going to execute the generated template. Let's go back over here, go into generated, click that, dock this so you can see it. This to me is just totally awesome with this capability. Let's go to the data source. We want Northwind again, all tables. Again, we could click and code generate. So we could code generate right into our generated folder, but for me it's better to have it embedded as a template. Let's click this, Control A, Control V. You can see it's got my tables. Save, open that up. There they are. So let's close that, close that, close that, close our form, close our template. Let's rebuild. Right out of the box, 0 errors. So let's try something. Let's go into our form, double click, and say employees. I don't have IntelliSense yet because I have to add the namespace. Employees collection. Now we can add the namespace. Resolve using business objects. I could have changed that as well. That's in the settings. Let's call it collection equals new employees collection, and we're just going to do a real quick if collection dot load all. Okay, the if, by doing an if, it says, hey, did you find at least one? Let's put a breakpoint in here. Run this guy. It's loading all the symbols. I don't know why it's loading slow like that. Let's look at the collection in the watch window, and let's open that up. The result view, you can see, look how many it found. Let's see how many it found. 189 employees, and if we look, there's all the information around that employee, including his photo. You can see it brought back the photo. It's a huge array, byte array. So there you go. In 6 minutes, we totally built a Tiraggo application, and now we have our templates embedded inside of our solution like you would a T4 template. But let me give you a little insight on this. What's cool about this is, unlike T4 that has access to system I/O and all kinds of other stuff, this template cannot harm your machine in any way. It can't reach out and touch your hard drive or anything, because it's using handlebars. So it's really JavaScript on the desktop. It's a pretty amazing feat, really. But the beauty of using handlebars is it's a logicless language, and the template itself cannot touch your machine. So if we were to go look at that real quick, let's open that up. Let's make some room here and scroll down and look at this. You can see here's the template that's doing all the code generation, and if you actually look at the template, it looks a lot like the code it's generating. So if primary key is length greater than 0, then we'll have a find by primary key method and so on. So that's the template that it's executing when you execute that. So if I close this at any time, just like on a T4, I can say run custom tool and regenerate. So at this point, I could go into My2ndGeneration and choose Microsoft SQL Server and connect to my database and repush my metadata, and then all I'd have to do is go in here and regenerate, run custom tool, and I've got all my database schema changes already in place. The custom ones are really only generated once. Those would never change. Those are the classes where you actually add your custom business logic. It's really the generated ones that are generated from the database schema. So these are never overwritten, really. Well, they are, but you check those in and out of source safe. But these are the only ones that are generated from the database schema that change when your tables and stuff change. So anyway, that's it. Hope you like it. It's pretty cool, pretty powerful. Thanks. Bye.